People, we have arrived at Forestier. I have achieved my mission. The bad thing about it is I thought when I arrived here, I would have met Guy Joseph with one table on here, Joachim with a table here, and each of them would have cold coconut water, fried fish, fried in locally made coconut oil, and fruits, and money waiting for me. But it's a shame. I feel very sad that I come all the way to Forestier and none of these people are here to welcome me. So that mountain range in Dennery Valley here, the lens not powerful enough, but there are two satellite dishes, one at the summit, the biggest mountain, the tallest one. There's a satellite dish there, and just to the right at a lower elevation there is also another one, and that's where the Rastas live. Natty Conqueror and his people live up there, and that's where I'm going to get the instruction as to where to pass, which road to use, or which track to use to go to Forestier. Keep the fire burning. Okay, I'm starting from here. This is the road that goes to Oleon. This one goes to Oleon Gardet. And this is the one I'm following to Dennery Valley, okay? So I'm going to follow this same route that people used to go to Castries in the days of old. Alright. So this is the vibes there. Brother Marcus.
Yes, my brother.
Let's talk about Marcus. Never live in vain.
Wait, stop.
What's going on?
Boy, let me tell you, the next time you know what I'm doing,
I'm
calling you first, you telling me, and I make the try come and pick you up for me to be there.
Yeah, but that one was, I went all day and he wasn't there and I needed,
Let me tell you, come there late tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning. We have a camp.
oh, you have something there?
Our people coming and camp for overnight.
Okay, no problem.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay,
Okay?
no problem.
No, not tomorrow morning, Monday morning.
Monday? Alright, we'll see. So this is the road to Dennery Valley. Road to Dennery Valley. Alright. Now this road to the left, the left road goes to Belmont, and Cardi was one of the main institutions in that area there, Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute. The Cardi headquarters in St. Lucia is over there, but as you may know, this is a dead institution. Nothing are going in that place for the most part. Alright. So I'm going to go through Dennery Valley, but I'm not going to show the whole Dennery Valley way because I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. But I want to explain something. I want to show you something. I was probably around 15 years old. 14 or 15. And exactly in that area here, I found $25 in this area here. On this road here, $25. And I went at my home with the money and I showed it to my mother. And my mother had me to come back here and put the money exactly where I found it on the road. And years after that, I remember that situation. And to me, that was just too much. I was not happy coming all the way to bring that money on the road, knowing that I found the money. Nonetheless, I had to do it. That's just how it was. That's just how it was. So, along this road here, I'm not going to be showing everything here. But when I reach in places where we do not have houses, that's where I'm going to really show the entire thing. Because the objective is to show or to trace the route that the old people used a long time ago to go to Castries. Now all this area here, when we were going to secondary school, all this area here used to flood sometimes. I'm not sure how it is now, but all this area used to flood. The river is just on the other side there to the left. So in this house there, my brethren Aurel used to live in that house there. My good buddy, we used to travel to school together. He used to live here. So I had to spend a little time talking to Aurel's father, trying to talk to him, you know. I haven't seen him in a long time. They sell blocks here at a good price, good blocks. That's my good brethren and buddy, Percy. And now we're approaching the Dennery Valley Combined School. So that's the Dennery Valley Combined School here. Alright. That's Pastor Marching place here. And this place here, this other building here was a very well-stocked supermarket. I think in the 90s. Yeah. Okay, so this is Coach Bakery. Prince Richie's, one of the best tasting bread you'll find in the valley. So in times past, I would have had to go straight through to go to Monday Z, but the bridge was destroyed many years ago. So now everybody is using that road here now. Everybody using the road to Fompiti because that other road was messed up. This is the community of Fompiti. I used to live here before a long time ago. Long time ago. Alright. Okay. Yeah, just going over there in the forest. I'm going to Monday Z. Yeah. Yeah. So that was my house there. That was one of my many houses when I was growing up. So I'm going to seriously start recording from around here. I was just talking to Mr. Rabbit a while ago. He's not well. But he was telling me to be careful with snakes. Alright. So that river here, that river, I used to bathe in that river. And it still looks clean. It is one of the places that is not really polluted. And higher up there is one they call, there's a spot that they call Bassin Gilles. A lot of people used to go and swim there, bathe there, especially during the times when there is no school. So I'm going to start so as I said before, take all ça qui ça fait. Lâchez nos qui là. Alright, so moi ça, les moi bouter dachine moi ça ko pour venir. Pas vrai police there moi. Non, non, un mot d'ici. Moi, ce qui a été porté, faire une vidéo. So as I said before, that road was not a thing that was there. There was probably a small track here, but there was a main road that was being used. And I remember there was a bridge there. There was some problems with the bridge, and they started using this road here. Morning. Yeah, ça fait garçon. Oui, moi là. Oui, combien de temps avant garçon? Yeah. Titin. Ça va faire. All right. Oui. So, in times past, we never had to be talking about snakes like that. But now everybody had to be telling you, be careful for snakes. But today, I'm not prepared to really start a war with any snake. So I just don't want them to mess around with me. I will be out of their way, and I want them to be out of my way. So I remember, you see some houses over there? There's a road there. There was a highway, a bridge. I think higher up where Brother Augustine house is was, and that bridge, that road was coming here. It was joining to this road here. But I think there was something that happened to the bridge, and they diverted the road. If I can recall, On this side here, there's a man named Mr. Alak. He had a lot of bananas in that area. And there was a man named Moses. Moses is Paul de Rivier's father. Paul, my brethren Patrick, Beryl, he had his farm somewhere at the back there. Moving right along. Look up on the stage, it's a bird, it's a plane. So, now, look up on the stage, it's a bird, it's a plane. So, I wanted to mention something as we travel along the way. We talk about crime in this country. Everyone is talking about crime. Tell me who are the criminals. All right. You listen to the radio every week or every month. You hear some other person shooting somebody, and invariably you will hear some other shooting taking place in retribution, some sort of reprisal kind of killing. People taking revenge for what happened to the brethren. And so a lot of the people are putting the blame on the government, and the parents themselves, they want to absolve themselves from the responsibility, and everybody puts the blame on the government. The truth of the matter is, on this side here, that man named Mr. Sonny, that's his land. On this side here, that's his land also. Mr. Sonny, he had bananas planted there. Long time ago, he used to work in the area of Forestry. And Mr. Sonny is my mother's uncle. So I was talking about the crime situation. People want to just blame governments. When UWP is in power, they blame UWP. When SLP is in power, they blame Philip J. Pierre. But people do not want, the ordinary person do not want to accept responsibility for their crimes. Their parents do not want to accept responsibilities for the things that they're doing. But we will not go into this. We're going to talk about solutions, because that's all they want to hear. There are people that have been paid to do things. They, for some reason, do not know the solution to the problems that they have been paid to solve. But so they are the ones that are pushing. For years you've been hearing people talking about, people talking about this, but talk about the solutions. Man, they're paying you all people to look for solutions. But I'm going to give you all a solution that the people are not considering. And that's the main thing. The thing is, sometimes the very thing you're looking for is the one thing that you just can't see. So when you were young, going to school, it was customary every weekend. Even if your mother was not going to church, you had to go. If you were an Adventist, you had to go on the Saturday, Church of God Saturday. You Pentecostal, Catholic, whatever you are, you go on the Sunday. Nonetheless, every single one of us would have received some religious instruction every weekend. What we have now is a situation where people do not send their children to church, and they have their children watching video games and being indoctrinated by things that they do not understand. What we have is a situation where there is not a balance between right and wrong. When we were growing up, we would have gone to church every weekend, so there would have been a certain level of morality, righteousness in you. Sometimes somebody do something to you, you don't want to take a knife and stab them, you don't want to take a stone and bust their head or whatever, because on the weekend, somebody told you about God is going to take revenge, do not kill, do not steal, things like that. These instructions that you receive in the church, it forms the foundation of your morality. So even when you encounter adverse situations, adverse circumstances, even when even when people do wrong to you, you are able to balance the wrong and the right. When I was growing up, we used to hear a lot of graphic songs. There were a lot of graphic movies. When I was growing up, I didn't know all these channels that people have access to now. But we had access to Showtime, Cinemax, HBO, TBS Superstation. Yeah, these stations, around 5 or 6 of them, we had access to them. And there were graphic violence in some of those things. The thing is, there would be that sign saying, parents may wish to consider where this movie is supposed to be viewed by children under 18, something like that. So when I was around, my mother would not let me watch these movies that are rated. But when you go in secondary school, certain movies, certain partners tell you about on HBO, Cinemax or whatever. Sometimes when everybody go and sleep, I would go and check some movies on HBO, Cinemax and things like that, because you want to see those things. You want to see some of those things that the guys talk about in the school. So you would have gone out and see, when everybody is sleeping, you go and see these movies. But because there is a balance of morality and immorality, there is like a fight in your head. Because on Sunday, on the weekend, you went to church, but there are these other bad things that happen that pull you on the other side. So you are able to balance between the bad and the good. A lot of the young people these days, they do not have that ability to balance between bad and good, because there is no tug of war going on in their head, really. Because there is an abundance of negative programming, abundance of bad songs, bad movies, bad vibes, bad experiences, and there's nothing to counterbalance those things. Nothing to counterbalance those things. But in my era, we had the church, we had the things that we would have heard on the weekend in the churches. We balanced the wickedness that we would experience on the weekday. But the modern kid does not have that, because you're only sending them to the house of God. So at the end of the day, we have people with very poor, low moral values and scruples. And this is one of the main reasons why we have all this crime. Now, there are other factors that contribute to crime, because you can't just say it's one thing that is there's a multiplicity of factors. But I'm telling you, you see that one, not having a moral balance is, I would say, 60% of the reason for crime in the place. In my estimation, it's 60%. The people do not have a moral compass. No more. No conscience, nothing like that. So, this area on top of here, there's a man named Mr. Franklin. He had his farm here, his banana farm. Just lower down, I was talking, so I missed that area. There's a man named Robert Steve. Robert Steve had this farm in that area. Somebody's here We have seen this close, these things here. Somebody's using something to cut grass over there. Alright, so but all this area here used to be in banana production in the green gold era. Another thing that is of paramount importance to mention. Hey, Southfair. Alright. Oh, ici à la femme? Oui, moi, je marcher en l'air là. Hein? Moi qui la race? Christian qui là? Oui, oui, oui. Oui. Oui, oui. Oui, quoi c'est Rasta, c'est Lana. Lana, elle est là avec des naïs babono. Oui. Oui, nous gagnons. Zoka, c'est papa ici, man. All right, okay. Nous gagnons. Yeah, so this road here was well paved. Well paved road. Well paved road. Asphalt, surface and everything. That road here. Okay? These lands here, these farms, were controlled by one man. Acres upon acres of land in banana production. It was a guy named Mr. Scott. He was the owner of all of that. He died many years ago. And he was maintaining these roads. These roads were well maintained, no holes, and there was a lot of farming activity taking place in this area here. About now, we see some farming taking place here, yeah? Some bananas here. Above that area, I do not think that you're going to see bananas again. But all of these things was controlled by one man. This man would sell trucks of bananas on a weekly basis. And there were a lot of people working on this estate. That's Mr. Scott. These roads were well paved. You know, like in Georgetown, Guyana, you will see some roads in Georgetown. Year after year, the road is still well paved. That is how this road was. There were no potholes, nothing in these holes. But the man is no longer here, and look at how the road has deteriorated. Okay? Similarly, in the Dennery Valley, you had this Dennery Farm Co. running the estates. The white guys were running the estates. As soon as they turned the land over to the local people, they messed up everything that was there. Even the irrigation. There were aluminum pipes, irrigation pipes that were being used. The people start stealing the pipes, not knowing how they're going to use it. So they just stole it for no reason. And in this modern era, imagine when I was around teenager, from 14 around that, I was walking on that highway there, on the Larshu stretch, where Brother Sean is building that road. I remember having to time the overhead sprinkler. There were these powerful sprinkler guns, and you had to watch where the gun was sending the water, so that you can get out of the way before it goes back in the direction that you're walking along the road. These estates were run by the white people at that time. From the time they give it away to the ordinary person, gave them 5-acre lots, everything just went down the drain. Even the, how do you call these things, windbreaks. The guys planted lines of mangoes, Julie mangoes, and the other one, big one. And the purpose of these lines, the windbreaks, was to break the strength of the wind when it comes from the ocean. So the wind would be coming from further side, and these tree lines would be breaking the force. So thereby giving the bananas a chance during tropical storms and hurricanes. The people who inherited these estates, what did they do? They started just cutting down trees indiscriminately. So after every storm, they get no protection and all the bananas fall down. Now inside of that area, somewhere at the back here, the same man I went and see a while ago, Mr. Rabbit, he had this farm over there. And there's a lady, Miss Arces. She had the bananas over there also, in that area. Okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to deploy my drone to take some, I want to take some shots to make a video of what's happening down there. I will send the drone out for a few minutes and then I will bring it back and add it to that production.
Okay, people, we're going to see what's going on. We're going to go up, we're going to go in the air and have a look at what's going on the ground. So as you can see, there are very few areas where there is serious banana cultivation taking place. And in the times past, in the times of old, during green gold era, all of this area would have been covered with bananas. But in this present era, you can see that very little is happening in terms of serious production agriculture. Very little is happening. You can just see from the aerial videograph what is happening. There is not much happening in terms of serious agricultural production. These plants you see, for the most part, they are trees, mango trees that have been established over many years. And there are some people who are doing some light farming here and there, but nothing significant. As you know, this is Dennery Valley. These houses that you're seeing is Dennery Valley. So we're going to go back. And we're having a view now of the areas that we didn't see when we were going down. Again, you can see there's very little farming taking place. All of these areas used to be cultivated with bananas. All of these areas were under banana production. Now there is nothing really that is happening in the place. And even as we go along, you could have seen that it was just, the area was just forested while plants growing. Things like Wakanu and these other plants growing in some of those places for the forest take over. But I remember when it was small, when you were going to school, I actually heard farmers threatening to chop a man named Vidal. Mr. Vidal was one of the forestry workers, and he was kind of responsible for the forest lands in terms of allowing some people to plant close to the forest. And so when he denies some people of the opportunity to plant, they would be threatening him. I have heard people talk about chopping Vidal. And look now, the forest has reclaimed its land. And it was a very good thing that Vidal was doing, because Vidal was trying to protect the water quality. At that time, people were using all of the gramazone, glyphosate, and all of that. Now, they were not using buffer zones. So there's a strong probability that the chemicals that they were using were going directly into the surface water and contaminating the water. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows, people? That some of the illnesses, some of the sicknesses that some of the people have now is as a result of some of the same glyphosate that they were using, and they were allowing it to go directly into the surface water. And this is what Vidal was trying to prevent. But the thing is, you were a teenager at that time, going to school, and you were hearing people talking. They're going to chop. That's why try for yeah, nah, these are the kind of things that they were saying. And I believe strongly that some of the people are sick because of the same chemicals, glyphosate and others, that they were allowing into the water. And Vidal was trying to prevent that from happening.
Yes. So, moving right along. So I was telling you earlier concerning that crime situation. They need to have a balance, because there is more bombardment from the internet than any other time in history. When I was growing up, it was okay, it was good. But now you have more bombardments on the internet. Young people are bombarded with a lot of negative stuff. So now there need to be even a more urgent and thoughtful, deliberate planning of a moral balance. People need to have access to things that will stimulate them, encourage them to godly behavior. More so now than ever. And one of the things we're seeing again is that in my time, in my era, a long time ago, the grandmothers were very strict disciplinarians, helping the mothers and the fathers to discipline the children. But right now, I'm not sure what's happening to these grandmothers now. The things that they will kill you for when you're growing up, they allow their grandchildren to do it. And they laugh and they protect their grandchildren. Whereas in your era, these people would have meted serious damage to you, serious corporal punishment. But now, they are enablers, enabling their grandchildren to do things that are unseemly. So to this left here, our farm was at the back over there. We had bananas over there, cocoa, yams, tanya, and things like that. This little facility there, I think it's supposed to be something they're going to be doing for bottling water. Now, in my era, when I was growing up, when I was a young guy, around 15 years, 16, the tanya trees, the tanya plants, some of them were the height of a man when they were fully grown. And so when you harvest, when you pull out one tanya plant, you can fill a whole 5-gallon bucket with one tanya plant. And now I'm not seeing that happening the way it was being done before. What I believe is that, boss, the panay there, man. Babono said I passing, I would have want to say hello to him, but tell him Christian. Yeah, so I think we have lost fertility. The soil is not as fertile as it was when I was growing up. And also, we use a lot of chemicals, the glyphosates, the gramazones and those things. These things not only kill the herbs, they destroy the microorganisms in the soil. The engine for healthy soil is a strong microbial population, and even earthworms too. Earthworms is one of the strong indicators of fertility in soils. And in some of these cases, some of these lands do not even really have the number of earthworms it's supposed to have, because the chromosomes and the glyphosates have destroyed those things. We are destroying the fertility of our lands with these chemicals that we use in this place. We didn't know better, that's what they brought in, but we have to have a more aggressive change into the use of more organic chemicals in our farms. So that partner here, very nice partner. I'm passing through this area. This is the only house in that area. So I just wanted to say hello to him. But the other partner said that he's doing something over there. Probably doing something on his farm. But I didn't want to come all the way here for me not to say hello to the guy. Nonetheless, I don't want to disturb him if he's way down to call him here. All right? So we're moving right along. So as I told you, our farm was on the other side there, on the left-hand side. Now, right now I see a lot of the children now, they do not have work ethics. They're not building and developing work ethics. What we have now is a situation where the mothers are enablers of laziness, and some of the fathers too. They will ensure that the children get their food. When there is no school, they will spend all the time. Yeah, he come in. All right. He come in. They're spending all their time in video games. And it is so bad now, even when parents have farms, they do not bring their children on the farm. They will let them spend the whole summer time, the summer vacation, in front of a TV, instead of bringing them on the farms with them. So that in itself is, hey, what's going on? I'm making a video. I just coming from everywhere, going by Natty Conqueror and then Forestier. So I say, since I pass in here, I have to say hello to you, because it's not often I get a chance to pass here. So everything safe?
Yes, so far, yeah.
Yeah, keeping the fire burning?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, you're going down there? They have a waterfall there? I know they have something over there. I went there, some fellas one time, they were looking for the water. Yeah. The water cold there? And the waterfall?
Cold.
Uh-huh.
I have 2 waterfalls on this property.
That's the kind of water I like, you know.
Yeah.
When I was living there in the area, I still like to bathe in the river. The river up there was no pot.
You there? Man, I know this is you there, man.
Yes, it's me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's me there.
Yeah, okay. I forget your name. Rice.
Christian.
Crystal, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going and bathing waterfall down there.
Yeah.
Waterfall we have there.
Because I used to love bathing in these things, you know. And we had Bassin Margil
Okay.
over there by Fontpiti there.
Okay.
And there was one they call Bassin Salton. The Bassin Salton is the deeper one. And the water in these places were cool. But there is something about this bathing in these waters that is very therapeutic. It calms you down.
Yeah.
It really makes you feel good, man.
Yeah, man. It's natural.
Yeah. When you bathe in the shower at your home, it is a different thing from going in the river.
Yeah, because the shower and the water already break down with chlorine.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah, man.
Keep the fire burning. Yeah. Yeah. So I was telling you people that you see what happened is people saying that their grandmother in the old days used to eat dashin and the yam and all of those things. I can assure you that the taste may be the same. It may be the same. Maybe. But the nutrient content of the dashin and the yams that your parents ate, your grandmothers ate, is different from what you're eating now. What your parents were eating were very high in these minerals, vitamins, starch. They had good carbohydrates in those things. But I'm telling you people, probably the only thing that you may have there still is the carbohydrate content. All them other things, because the minerals, the soil is depleted of minerals. The plant have to suck the nutrients from the soil. So if the soil is nutrient depleted, the food that you're going to eat will be nutrient depleted too. And that is why it may become necessary to use more vitamin supplements, because we're not getting enough in them food that we get in here, that we grow in here. And to support my argument, that situation still holds in America, and a lot of the soils in America are more fertile than the soil that we have in St. Lucia. Now, there's a guy, soil scientist, named Niles C. Brady. If you're a soil scientist, you must know that book, The Nature and Properties of Soil. This book is like the Bible for soil scientists. Now, in the introductory pages of that book, he looked at the nutrient content of the soil from like 18 something going up. I can't remember exactly because it's been a while I look at that book. And to the present era, when he was alive. And it was clear that there was a decline in the soil fertility. Now, generally, soils in the tropics tend to be less fertile than the soils they have in America, because here it's hotter. So the fauna and the flora, they are broken down like these leaves. They break down faster in the tropics. In America, there is more of a buildup of those things in the soil over a period of time as compared to here. So the dashin and these yams that we eating now, let's not make ourselves believe that we in this place are getting the same benefits that these other people get. I think that's the line that the fellows using for the water. I was the one who went there with them to take the water sample. I sampled the water and took it to the lab. Sent it to the lab in America for the analysis. And this is, any water that you get from here is good water. These guys here are going to give you all some good quality water. So I'm advertising for you all here now. This water, the quality of that water this guy is going to give you all will be good. Because I was the one who took the water samples to take to the lab, to send to the lab in America. And so I know about the quality that you're going to be getting once they continue the project. But I think it's a very good project, very ambitious project, and support their water, because the quality of water that these guys will give you will be very good. So I noticed that in this country there is an aversion sometimes to supporting people who are trying to do well in business and in other things. And these are attitudes, mentalities, behavioral patterns that are detrimental to the development of the country. So, a lot of times, the people want to single out the politicians, these leaders, to blame solely for all the problems. But in a number of cases, the people are the real problems. The way they fight against the progress of each other. So this is something that you'll have to really stamp out and erase from your minds. The way that it's like you have an aversion to see another person advance in life. You see these problems that I mentioned, these aversions that some of you have to progress. I just want to thank God because He gave me a mother, and from around I was 5 years old, my mother was programming those things in my mind. My mother used to tell me, do not be jealous of what people have because you do not know what they did to get it. And one of the ideas that I have is this: in everything and in anything that I do, there will always be people who are better than me, more skillful than me, more knowledgeable than me in everything that I may try to do. And there will be a lot of people that I will be more capable than them, more skillful than them, more knowledgeable than them in everything that I try to do. But I will not be the tail in anything, and I will put my energy and my effort to be above average in everything that I try to do. So there are some things that I will do, and I will be in the top 1%, top 5%, thereabout. Some things I will try to do, I will try to be in the middle. But I know that there are people who will be more capable than me in life. I know that. So, and I expect that. Because of that, I am predisposed not to be jealous of people, not to try to fight against people, not to try to undermine people. But if somebody is good in an area, rather than using these negative behavioral patterns towards them, I will congratulate them when necessary, instead of finding faults where there is no fault to be found. Okay? So these are some of the things that you see along the way. What they call that, Wakanu? Some of them things. Down there, there is a waterfall there. There is a source of water here that doesn't dry. How do they call it? It's called perennial. It's a perennial water source. I'm hearing it as I'm walking through here. Now, I want to discuss something about President Vladimir Putin. I know that many of you all may not really be interested in that topic, but I want you to hear something, and it's a lesson that you will learn, because we live in a culture in this country where people will sometimes deliberately spread bad news about people. They have no idea what they're saying. They know nothing about the people, and yet they will spread bad news about the people. So I want to use that backdrop of facts to talk to you about Vladimir Putin. Now, Vladimir Putin took over the leadership of Russia from President Boris Nelson. Boris Nelson was a president of Russia, and I am not sure if he is to be blamed directly for that, but towards the end of his leadership, the economic situation of Russia was very poor. And it was said that he was an alcoholic. He was making deals with Reagan, because as you know, Russia and America were not dealing at all. And it was Boris Yeltsin and President Reagan who really started mending fences between these two powerful countries. So after Yeltsin, the system of government, whatever ensued, but the great Vladimir Putin emerged as the prime minister, the president of Russia. There was a time, you will recall, because of the term laws and so on, he had to give up the president position, give it to another guy. I think his name is Dennery, something like that. And then after some years, he took back the leadership as president. I'm telling you all of this because I want you, the point I want to draw, I'm trying to set the foundation for it. So when I was going to school, there's a Russian partner. A friend of mine who was from Russia. He was studying organic chemistry. He was doing graduate work in organic chemistry. We became very close. He told me that when he was growing up, his family had to stand on a line for hours just to get bread. Hours. His family, his parents had to stand up on a line so that they could get bread to give them to eat. And he told me it was when Vladimir Putin came in power, when Vladimir became president, they started eating much better meals. The quality of their meals improved. They were eating better, and there was less hunger when Vladimir Putin became president. This is a guy I know very well. We used to eat together, discuss things together, who lived in Russia, and he told me about the realities on the ground. Whatever information you have contrary to that is what you got from CNN News, CBS, ABC, This American News, and BBC. And these people have an agenda to frame Vladimir Putin in a negative light. They have an agenda to make it look like they're superior to Russia in everything. Because of my personal experience with what the guy experienced, with his personal hunger, the realities of him eating better meals when Vladimir became president, that is more real to me than what I heard from CNN. And after that, I started looking more into Russia to try to understand what is going on there. And the more I look at Russia, the more I check out Russia, is the more amazed I become at the leadership of Vladimir Putin. In my books, in my limited understanding, I rate Vladimir Putin as the most effective leader in the world in terms of getting his agendas, in terms of looking out for his own people. I rate Vladimir Putin as one of the best in the world. But generally, in terms of the presidents of the world, Vladimir Putin is my favorite president. And I'm not talking about the things that are happening in Ukraine right now. I do not really rate him for what is happening in Ukraine now. But again, if you're a fair person, if you're a reasonable person who is not controlled by Western media, you will probably have an understanding of why Vladimir Putin is behaving the way that he's behaving now in that Ukraine war. Because that Ukraine war, people, is a proxy war. It's a war where you have Russia fighting against the combined forces of the United States and European Union. That is what is happening in Ukraine. Ukraine now is a war where you have multiple countries taking part in that war. And incidentally, I would wish for somebody to tell me what a world war is. At what point does a war become a world war? At what point does a war becomes a world war? Because in Ukraine now, you have Russia, and Russia is fighting against Ukraine. But really what is happening is Russia is fighting against America, England, all the European countries, and Ukraine in Ukraine. That is what's going on there. But the take-home story in that thing is that you do not just believe what you hear on CNN and those places. This is why CNN does not have viewership. They have fabricated a lot of stories. They have made up a lot of things. And here's how I stopped listening to those people. I was watching CNN and this news. I've been watching these things for many years. And I have been appalled at some of the things that I see. Because when all of the invasion was taking place in Afghanistan and all those places, America was going on there, the war was going on there, CNN especially would bring certain guys from America and they would call them terrorist experts. And these guys never fire a shot. They were never in the army. They were never a member of the CIA, FBI, or nothing like that. Mossad, MI6, MI5, nothing like that. These people just wrote a book on some aspect of terrorism, and all of a sudden, they have these guys coming on international news, and they're presenting these fellas as terrorist experts. That's one of the things that really opened my eyes to look closely at these people. The other thing is, you remember that time when there was that economic collapse just before Obama became president? I was watching a guy. The guy is an economist, very famous. I think the guy, he got a Nobel Prize in economics. And I was listening to this man talk about economic principles, and he was saying how things was nice, everything is everything, everything copper set in the American economy. And then weeks after that, everything, housing market collapse, everything collapsed. JP Morgan, this, that one, gone down the drain. You're hearing certain guys like Madoff, rich guys, them men just unaliving themselves because in one day, them fellas turned from billionaire to nothing. And since their value was in the amount of money that they had, they unalived themselves. There was a rich guy from Germany, one of the richest in the world. That man jumped in front of a train. In no time, fellas just became nothing. You know why? You know why? Do you know why? Shabarang say, they have the heart of a pagan. The reason why that happened is because they rate themselves, they value themselves based on the amount of money that they have. That's why I have that problem with that term, self-worth. Is worth. So in America, you will hear they talk about certain sportsmen. Michael Jordan, this one, that one. And they will tell you his self-worth is $500 million. So, if you're worth, you should look for another term, man, because the terms that you use are very specific and it says a lot. If you're describing and you're going to define a man by his financial achievements and say that is his worth, it is okay, it is understandable to hear them men unalive themselves when they lose their money. Because you already tell them that their self-worth, their net worth is in the amount of money that they have. So it is understandable that if they lost all these billions and millions of dollars, that they will unalive themselves. Let me tell you something. Your self-worth lies in your worth inside. Joy is a powerful self-worth. Peace Peace. Having a sense of peace. Some people do not have peace. They cannot sleep. Peace. That is your net worth. Your worth, your net worth, your peace. You check it? Your morality, your word. When you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it. You check it? That is worth. That is value. These are the things that are your net worth. You check it? The other things, the financial things, are of critical importance also, but they are not your self-worth. They are not, that does not encapsulate who you are. To the extent that some people, when they do not have money, they feel like they're nothing. Because you have been taught wrong. So this is, I'm approaching where the partners live, the Rastas live in the mountains, where Natty Conqueror family live. That's the place there. I'm already here. From here, I'm going to ask one of them to show me the road to, how do you call that place again? Forestier. And because of the way Joachim and Guy Joseph making noise and warring and fighting for leadership of that place, I hope when I reach in Forestier, I see both of you all there with your tables to welcome me when I reach Forestier. Because you're making a lot of noise on the radio and the TV. You all say you all are representing the people. Okay. I come in from the valley. Have your tables there to welcome me. I want cold water. I want fruits. I want fish. Wow, my lass. Oh, that's the gate. That's the entrance to the place. But, my lass, I'm going to sit here and get some strength. Boy, I'm telling you, it's not easy. I told some people to come with me, and everybody I ask, they have this to do. Only one guy admit, and he told me he's not fit. He cannot come with me. But when he gets strong, he'll come. Let me tell you people, it is not easy. And the thing is, if you're walking continuously, because most people who come here on four-wheel drive vehicles. Now, if you have your farm here, you have to come. But I'm telling you, the idea of walking, and the thing is not only walking, but talking while you walk. Because if I was just walking, I would have been in better shape. But walking and talking, all that talk at the same time gets you more tired. It is not that I am tired, you know, I just need to just need to relax and to breathe. But this is the place where the Natty Conqueror father and his people live. So I'm just going to reason a bit before I go into their yard, because I want to ask one of them to show me the road that goes to Forestier. Or if they can direct me to as to how to go there, it will be good. But that's the vibe I want to do there. Okay? Now, there's something that I wanted to talk about. And I've been I wanted to talk about this thing for a long time now, but I hope that people are following up to this point to really give me a listening ear. What I want to say is this. In this country, in every country, I think it is the role of men to protect the community, protect the city, protect the country. Mainly men. And it is the role of men to protect women from other men who would do harm to them. Too many times in this country, over the period of my life, I have seen men, like if a man attacks a woman or beat the woman up badly or whatever, sometimes they say it's their girlfriend, whatever. Beat up the people. Sometimes I've seen cases, or heard of cases where they broke the lady's arms, used cutlass on the people and all of that. And you not really, to me, in a country, no matter what time it happened, in 1901, 1980, 1990, 2025, 2040, it is the role of men to go and deal with men who would be a threat to the people of the society. I remember a long time ago, I was walking towards Lakai. Or I think I was somewhere close to Bosqueda, and I saw a lady, and I stopped to check her out. That lady had walked from Oleon, and the police station was at Lakai. The lady walked from Oleon going to Lakai. It was a situation where she was living in a house with a man, and the guy cut her in her head with a cutlass, and that lady was bleeding. When I saw that lady, I had her, you know, I had her to support herself on my shoulder. I remember that day I had a white shirt. It was a new shirt that I had, and I'd liked that shirt. And the shirt was, it was messed up because of the blood from the lady. At that time, I think I was around probably 16 years at that time. Could have been a little older, but I remember that vividly. And the lady went to the police station. And years after that, I was thinking about that lady. So shortly after that happened, no, I think I was probably older than that, you know. I had probably finished CXC already. So I went overseas. Bossman, how are you? I'm going to Forestier. I came to your place the last time, you don't remember me? I'll come and see you just now. I just doing a video. Yeah. So what happened is I asked about that lady some years after that. And a cousin of mine told me that she's related to the lady, and she told me that the lady was still with the guy. And at that point I was really, you know, I was kind of not happy with that situation, because I'm saying, look at this. Somebody cut you in your head. You had to go all the way to the police station. This lady became weak, and she had to sustain, you know, to prevent us, to kind of sustain herself, she had to lean over on me. She messed up my t-shirt. And you went through all of that just to end up going back with that same fella. And in retrospect, I was thinking, I said, where were the men in the community who allowed a fella to do that and nothing happened? Nothing happened. And even in this modern era, I'm observing and I'm seeing these situations where even when things happen to women in the society, for the most part, the only person, I can be wrong, it is Catherine I see coming on the media to talk about the situation. Catherine is trying to, you know, look out for the rights of these women. But to me, the men are supposed to be aggressively protecting the people in the country and in the society from harm. to me, it is the responsibility of the men to protect the women in the community. So when you see a situation where it is only Miss Catherine that come in on the radio and talk in support of the women, I'm saying, what is going on with the fellas in the country? In the African folklore, when the elders, when a man is misbehaving and the elders warn you and you can't hear, they send the young men and mash up your house and deal with you. You understand? The African elders know how to deal with situation. But it's almost like a situation here where men see things happening and they turn in their heads. They're behaving as if they're seeing. One time I saw a situation where somebody was attacking somebody with a stick or something like that on the road, and people were just passing with their cars. You understand? In a lot of cases, you will see if something, depending on what happened, certain times it is easier for you to hear a lady talk and say, don't do that, leave the person alone. And you'll see the fellas, they're just watching and they're doing nothing. It is the responsibility of men to protect the country and to protect the community and to protect the city. Yes, people. So a while ago I was talking about the men have a role in the community to protect the women from harm. The men have to protect the city. They have to protect men from other men and even women from other men that will want to cause problems. Men have to protect the city. That's what I think. But the elder Ras there was giving me a different point of view. He was wondering if the people themselves, if the system here will endorse that. Yeah. So I want him to flow and have his view across.
Yeah, my brother, you know what I mean? Greetings.
Yeah.
I hear you talking and you're talking about how men supposed to protect the women. It's true, because let's take a look at the monkeys first. We see the male monkeys protect the females. They do not allow any male to come in there to breed the females.
Yeah.
So it's a natural thing. You said about the African elders. Of course, they would say, okay, this man not taking care of his children. Then you send them, they used to go there and trade him up. But when we look at in St. Lucia, will if a man do a woman bad, because we have several cases here already that where they did women bad. Some of the cases is pending, they doesn't know who did it or whatever. But if you know somebody rape a woman, and let's say the community say, well, let's go and get that man to straighten him up, will the government of St. Lucia allows that?
Well, the thing is that they have their law where it will be the police that will have to come and deal with that. But we have to deal, if we have a system where we deal with those things before it gets that grave, then people would probably check themselves before they allow it to go that far. Because in the African tribal situation, people address things, the problem start, and they go and talk to the elders that deal with it. But even in our situation now, somebody decide that they want to rough up somebody, and a group of fellas just roll on them and say, hey, c'est pas quoi on a fait ça ici, you know, on peut checker, on va faire ça ici. C'est pas quoi on a deal ici. It will kind of protect people in the future, because you will know that this is the norm. The norm is we do not accept them kind of vibe in the society. But if it is a situation where no man talk, fellas will do those things, because in the beginning, you remember there was a time people used to chop people. There used to be a lot of chopping before. There used to be a lot of things happening. Even fellas used to chop ladies before. More than now. It is as a result of probably the law and the jail and all of that. Now, people kind of more careful with that. But people used to do these things a lot. People used to beat women a lot before.
It is more awareness now. It is
right.
It is more, I mean, globally, people could go on the internet and they could see what's happening. People wise up, intelligent, people get more intelligent, more this and this, but they do it in a different way. Then maybe they are not being domestic violence to a person, beating the person, and they still not giving the person, they ain't taking care of the children. In a way, they're beating that woman by not taking care of the children, letting her go and work to feed her children. So it's still a matter of, it's not good, it's oppression. But when it comes to the group of people will say, I tell you, let us go and straighten up this man. Will the government of St. Lucia allow you to do that? And if the government will not allow you to do it, then it will be that you're not going to according to the protocols or the laws, and you will be charged for doing that also.
But the thing is, we have what you call common law.
We have crisis center, and when we have crisis center, we see there is a organization that stood up for the women that was really being abused and beaten and everything. If you say it's kind of cool out, right? Because there is an organization that say they stand up as, crisis center. But then tell me something. Did it really stop it? No. Because after that, we still have cases where, they kill people. But you, as if you're a husband and you have a wife and you do not want your wife to dress a certain way because she might tempt other people, it is your duty as a man to protect her. And your duty is trying to protect her from another man, like she is tempting another man. Now, if she doesn't hear you, and then she go out there and she get raped now, she causes you to be in a problem because you'll want to go and fight for her.
Yeah.
So if she then say she is the one that want to stop certain violence that is going on against women, them women in St. Lucia, why they looking forward for Carnival to go and expose themselves for man? And when man see them today, when man want them tomorrow for them to say something, tell me why they still exposing themselves. Tell me why, because it's a culture, because they cannot stop exposing themselves.
They say it is the culture, they say that's what they enjoy. And the thing is that there are people who take pride in letting people see what they're working with. You understand?
Okay, all right. The people is free, everybody have the choice and they're free, I understand. But if we have, say, we have weak men in St. Lucia, or not on St. Lucia, the Caribbean, anyway, we have them weak men. Now, isn't there a God? Isn't there a creator that said dress well attired?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, if then you're not dressing well attired, who you following, God or Satan? So if you're following the devil, then what you have to get what the reward the devil brings to you. And if you follow God, you get the reward God brings to you. You understand what I'm saying? So which one they following? Because it's either a blessing or a curse. It's either you following the blessing, my friend, or you following the curse. Now, which one are you following? Which one they following?
Yeah, but the thing is, regardless of what, even God give them a choice. God never force man to serve him and do what he say. He give man a choice. It's either you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Similarly, the carnival vibe. Man have or the woman or whoever have a choice to decide whether they want to go. You understand? And God still give them that choice. If they want to go and do it, they do it.
Exactly, I don't say
now,
no.
certain man, they'll have their women.
But the judgment is not, there's no partiality in the judgment.
Yeah.
The judgment is, if you do evil, evil live after you.
But the thing is,
if you do evil, evil live after you. And if you do good, good live after you. It's a matter of what do you do.
But the judgment is,
what a man sowed, that shall he reap. That's the judgment.
But wicked man don't care about judgment, Wicked people don't care about judgment.
Not caring doesn't make that he will not face the judgment.
He will face it.
The woman that doesn't care also when exposing herself, when a judgment come on her.
She will face it. But before that judgment come, if you tell her, hey, okay, you see her walking there and you see her, you're saying, let me tell you something. Jonah, or whatever her name is, I feel you should, move or dress in a more modest way,
Sexual harassment, sexual harassment, right? I
don't feel you should be dressing like that,
Then you're going against the protocol because they have a law that says she can dress so.
Yeah. You know what she'll do?
Listen, do you know that they recognize Batty Boy, sodomite, means man and man. They recognize this more than if you say pornogamy, to say a man have two wives. Two wives, you have two women, that is out of it. But a man have a man, that's okay. So look at the system we're living in.
But the thing is that, who is the author of the system? God didn't write that system. God never write what the operation of that system.
God gave up, he placed, you see especially the black people, he placed a blessing in front of them or a curse. He say you choose one.
Yeah.
But so if you choose the curse, then the curse, all the thing that is bad and evil comes under the curse.
But most of the people that we have in our system, they choose bad. Most of them. And even
you're right.
When you're trying to do righteousst, people hating you. That's how it is.
That's why I tell you, if you try to tell her you should dress properly. Can you go and tell Madonna she should dress properly? The world superstar.
Yeah.
You know how many men go in Carnival just to see pom pom?
Yeah.
They don't come for nothing just to see Small pum pum, big pum pum, or old pum pum, you know, and then tomorrow they tell you when you pass on the street and I say, you know, you have a old pum pum, you know, you've actually to them.
Now, you know, if the same girl you would have tell, you know, don't dress like that, I think you should dress better. She will tell you, my man like it like that. Mind your business. You'll always like want to tell somebody something.
Good.
And for that reason, a lot of people will just let them pass and not tell them anything.
Because he's, or else she could even go and tell the man it in a different form and say, you know, this man is really trouble.
Yes.
And the first thing a man will think trouble in what?
Yeah, it's like you want the woman or something like that. Or the woman will want to say, that guy over there, whatever it is, thing, that man see me passing and that man have some foolishness to tell me. If he want me, let him, why you don't just ask me? Instead of, you know, that's the kind of mentality that they have.
So when you look at now, your mentality is, you see the people need some help and you were trying to see if you could find a way to help them. But the way you are looking for to help them is a way that is condemned. And since it is condemned, what you as an individual can do about it? Nothing.
Nothing, huh?
Nothing. So it is like I said, if they don't have a father, they don't have a son. So if the creator tell them dress well attire and they're dressing.
It's not you it's not you they go listen to. Yeah, that's how it is, eh? Because right now we in a system is like right is wrong and wrong is right.
Yeah.
And what I have noticed is like you will tell people the truth. So you're talking to somebody or whatever and you tell them the truth. And they will not believe you. Because it's almost like people want you to tell them what, it's like they have a story in their head. And everything have to fit with that slit that they have in their mind. And if you're different from what they have in their head, they assume that you're lying to them or you're not telling the truth. The thing is, not everybody have the experiences that some of the people have. It may be that I make a concerted effort to be a righteous man. It could be that all my life I try to be righteous. So if I tell you that these things I do not do these things or whatever, I don't do this, I don't do that, you will think that I'm lying to you. But truly that's what I am. So because we're in a situation where I used to think that people like lies than the truth. But what happened? So? Yeah, I used to think that.
Look at Netanyahu. These people that calling themselves Jews. What did the Bible say? They say they are Jews,
but are not.
But they do lie.
Yeah.
You see, so this whole nation lie and say that they are Israel, that they are us. They say that they are the black people.
But let me tell you something. Do you know that a lot of the people that go to church, if you tell them that Moses, all of these people were black, you know these people looking at you like you're mad, like you don't know what you're talking about. I used to be very deep in church. I used to be very deep in the church. But when I realized, went to understand life for what it is, I cannot go and sit down in the church again. You understand? I was in Alabama. I was in Alabama. I went to school in Alabama. And the seat of racial discrimination is there it is. They have more church than everybody think. They have church here, church there. They have church, white people go to their own church, black people go to their own church. In the same Baptist thing, you'll have white and you have blacks. When I think of in the world, I think of the oppression of Africa. I think of a country like America training people, go through good schooling and train them to go to another country and cause the people to fight against their own self. They're training people to go and destroy countries.
Of course,
you understand?
Gaddafi, right?
Yeah. They train you to do that. And the Christian people that preaching in the churches, they go and they saying to the may God bless their soldiers.
Now wait.
Bless the
Hold
troops.
on there now. So this is where that they are deceived because they believe in that these are the real Jews. They believe in that these are the Israelites of God. They believe in that these people, if you bless them, they will bless, and if you curse them, you curse.
Because yes.
And so forth. So because they believe is that these so-called Christians, these so-called churchgoers, they say, oh, we have to bless these people. Do you know that they took millions of Africans into slavery in the diaspora? And do you know that all the churches you talk about, Alabama and other places, do you know that it is crowded with black people? And do you know that there is no knowledge that there was slaves being preached in the scriptures, in the churches? Do you know that they're not telling them that they were slaves and they have to return to their homeland where they was taken? Do you know it's only Rastafari that come and telling the people that you all are Africans, you all was taken away from your homeland, and after 400 years, you all have to return. But you all cannot just return, because you all have to return. He said, hear what he said. And I will say, bring all them that are called by my name. You cannot just return. You have to be called by the King of Kings' names. The King of Kings came in all the nations that is there. The only nation that have a King of Kings and Lord of Lords sitting on the throne of his father and give his people his name. Rastafari. That's the only King of Kings that give his nation, and they deceive the nation with 2 bags of cement and a tin of white paint and tell them that this is Jesus Christ. Check.
2 bags of cement and a white paint.
Yeah. And they tell them that's Jesus, and they tell us that Jesus is in the sky. Let me tell you something. You see the Bible? The Bible is positive. The Bible is right. But what happened when they was translating the Bible from Greek to the English? They twist it. And now they're saying it. Even the Pope is saying it now. They twist it. You know how they twist it? The meek will inherit the earth. Why are you telling the meek that you'll inherit heaven? What are you going to inherit? And the same Jesus said. Then they tell the people, everybody have to die. Everybody must die. Even you believe you have to die. Why you believe you have to die? And the power of life and death is in the tongue, but you will use the power of death over you and not the power of life over you. So you're not using the power of life and say, I will live, but you say, I will die. Doesn't you have the power here to say that? Now, how could you tell me everybody will die? The Bible never said everybody will die. You know, the Bible says in the last days when Christ comes, those that dead will rise.
Yes, from the dead.
And the ones that are alive. So they didn't die then.
Yeah.
The Bible.
Yeah.
So therefore then we see a lot of those conception and brainwash the people and give the people to go and live in the sky. I don't want to go and live in the sky. I want to go to Ethiopia. There they robbed me from. I want to go back to my homeland. I want to go back to my father's land. When they was taking slaves, they took David's seed, King David, the one that's in the Bible. They took his seeds. And then we are the ones that is there. He said, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat. We that sit by the rivers waiting to return to our homeland. That's what we're waiting for. We're not waiting to go to the sky.
Let me tell you something. There is a thing in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that if you do not believe that the people of God are black people, if you read that, you should understand something. The people, it talks about, that's the way it talks about blessing and curses. It talks about all the blessings that will come on you and all the curses that come on top. And there is a part that says, they shall take you on ships, and they take you to a strange land. And he will tell you, all the strange things that will happen.
You will be there for 400 years.
Yes.
And after 400 years, then he will beat all the countries that afflicted you. That's what he told Abraham when Abraham saw in the vision. He told Abraham, for surety your children will be in a strange land. And they that oppress them, I will repay them, recompense them, and then I will bring your children out with great substance. So we are waiting for repatriation.
And
with compensation.
This is the evidence there. It tells you that they will be taken in captivity by ships.
Yeah.
And that part talks about the transatlantic slave trade, where people were taken all the way from Africa on ships and brought in America, brought in the Caribbean, brought in South America and those places. Which set of people you know that was taken on ships and forced to work for all these years? Which set of people in the world? It's only the black people.
Now, hear that again. Your Bible tell you, your Bible tell you that Christ, in Revelation, he said, from the tribe of Judah. And the Bible tells you Judah is black. And then Solomon is black. And then Imperial Majesty is black. So then we have the whole tribe shows that we are black. Now Judah. Now these that come and say they're Jews, it's like that, just like some man is anything, I'm a Christian.
Yeah, he's a fake.
So they're not Judah. We that's Judah. And right now they're looking for Judah to bring Judah back, because only we that can come there, and the Palestinians say so. They say it's only we that's the savior. We that could return to our land. When the British was taking our black people from the land of Canaan, this is the Palestinian, the same place there. When they was taking the people there, they took our fathers from there. We used to live with the Arab because we are cousins. The Arabs and the blacks are cousins. Check it. One is from Agar and one is from Isaac. You know what I mean?
Sarah.
Sarah. You know the vibe, right? So since then we was like cousins and they used to live together. Netanyahu is Europeans. They are Europeans that wicked and England did not know what to do with them. Germany did not know what to do with them. And instead of they just kill all of them because they had gave them the land that because they had stole the black from the land. So the land he was in possession of the land as it was theirs. The Turks came after that because then after that there was war. And then they come. So when they come there, when Netanyahu and go there in 1948 and them time, when them man reach there, them man go and kill a lot of people and just taking land. But who did that again? America did the same things with the Indian. And who did that again? Canadians did the same things with the those that was there. And the Australians. So and France. So these people, all these people are Europeans. And the man that come there to, you know what I mean, settle on the people land, occupiers. And right now the time comes for all of them to move. And it's just a fire that going to stop. Check it.
Fire keep burning, can't cool.
Can't move.
Yeah.
And we the people that conscious, the black man that's conscious, he have his locks, he have his beard, and he know his majesty, and he love his majesty. Now we have some long hair Harry. We're not talking about long hair Harry.
Long hair Harry.
Yeah. They just have long hair. They're not Rasta.
Alright, hear this. The Creator created heaven and earth. Okay? All the hills we on there, the Creator created all of them things. So Haile Selassie, how Haile Selassie get to be God?
Okay.
So you tell me that Haile Selassie created that mountain over there and everything?
Didn't it written in the same Bible that and the world was made by him and he was in the world and the world knew him not?
Yeah, yes.
So there was somebody that was in the world, and that world was made by them. But he came and he didn't know them. Now let me tell you how it happened. In the days of King David, in the days of Moses, from the beginning, the Lord told Moses, he deliver us from Egypt, but we will go back into captivity. And when we go back into captivity, he will send a prophet like unto him.
God. They believe they are the chosen people of God, and they do not see black people as being important.
No.
My thing is, all of these countries, these big countries, all these the church people in America, they bless the... So, basically, I'm walking through the forest there. All of this is tropical rainforest. I left the Eldoras, and I'm walking through. But as I trod in through here, that is basically you crossing now this mountain range and to end up in Forestier. So you're passing through the rainforest. So right now I don't want to engage in too much thinking and talking, because at this point I want to be more observant. Observe what is going on in the environment as I trod through. I had a good conversation with the Ras. Just wanted him to flow uninterrupted for the most part. There is a lot of wisdom and knowledge in what he was saying. There are a few areas that there are few points of disagreement, but generally I agree with most of the things that he was saying. And you just cannot get pastors of St. Lucia to agree with the role of black people in the Bible. That they just will not agree that the great patriots that we have in the Bible are black people. They just refuse to agree that the people that God was talking about in the Bible, that if you bless, if God will bless you if you bless them, they cannot agree that these people are the black people. They will tell you all kinds of other stories. And I cannot put myself to listen to these pastors again. I cannot believe what they're saying. I cannot agree with that. That these big countries, these Western countries, will go in Africa, unalive Gaddafi. President Gaddafi, provided free education to his people. If what you want to study, they don't have it in Egypt, or you want to go another place, they still pay for everything for you. You get married, they pay for your house rent. And they kill a man like that. They went to his country and destroyed him. And Obama and Hillary Clinton were the people that organized that. And Hillary Clinton was laughing at what she did. That was a big achievement for them. And when the men who go and destroy these people, destroy the countries, where people who used to live good quality of life, they end up without food, starving. Even in Iraq, the people of Iraq tell you when Saddam Hussein was there, their rubbish was being picked up, and they never used to have problems with sanitation like they have now. Never used to have problems with food. All the countries that they destroyed to bring in their democracy, the people are suffering in all of these countries. And when the people go, the soldiers go to destroy those people, the church people in America, they pray for their troops. They say, God bless their troops. It's not like they come into America and do things to you all. You all go in and destabilize people's country to get their resources. And you all pastors saying, pray for their troops while they do those things. Just like in Germany, when Hitler was doing all of these things that he was doing, the Pope, I think it was the Pope Pius, he was blessing the bombs that Hitler was using. All of these things. And even right now, the Christians in America will say, God bless their troops. God bless their troops. I cannot support them Christianity. Them things is not for me. You see, when I didn't have knowledge, I was deceived by those things. You see, with more information, I cannot follow these things. God never endorsed these things that happen in there. You have to know that there is a distinction between knowing God, serving Him, and being part of these churches. You have to know God for yourself. And you have to serve God with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your strength. And you can do that without being brainwashed in these churches. But some of you may never walk this path. You all may never come through here. But nonetheless, you would have gotten an opportunity to see many things through this channel. He told me about a massive landslide that was there many years ago. And he told me to avoid going on the left road, but up to this point there's only one road I'm seeing. But he said regardless of which one you take, you will ultimately end up at Forestier. But for me, when you have people complaining when there's no reason for complaining, I just do not like those things. I remember in the time of the plague, there were people that were being quarantined at various hotels and guest houses in this country. I think they may have been traveling, and they had to quarantine these people in the hotels. But what was very alarming, it was shocking, and it kind of angered me when I heard people just complaining about the food. Just complaining about food. And I did not see the food that the people received. But the way I look at it is, when you're at a hotel, they will give you food enough that is good quality enough to sustain you. Even if you were to go to somebody's house, they will give you good food to sustain you, especially when you're a guest. And let's just say that for some reason you were not too satisfied with the food that they gave you, because maybe at your home you could have done it in a way where it would have tasted better or something like that. I understand all of those things. You can entertain these thoughts. But you see, the idea of complaining about food, okay? If the food was cold and they serve it to you cold, I can understand that. But if people give you a plate of food that is wholesome enough, well prepared, not something that will get you sick, and for you to be complaining at a time when there is a crisis going on, an international crisis, full up your belly, man. Full up your belly. You have cable and all of that. Go and watch TV. Read a book. Do something. But you see that complaining that people do unnecessarily in this country, I don't like that. For certain things, you complain when there is something legitimate. But it cannot be that there's a crisis going on and you're in a hotel, you're getting food and you're complaining. Then juxtapose that with a situation where you have a 10-year-old boy in Afghanistan having to walk with an AK-47 just to go and take water for his mother. Sometimes, when you look at people like Guyana, people in Guyana, these people are very innovative people, hardworking, because they went through crises before. Jamaica, they have been through a lot of hard times. And because of that, skills and innovation emerged. Sometimes it's not that I want anything, but when you compare, I believe that for the most part, God has been very good to St. Lucians. St. Lucians have been spared from a lot of hostile and adverse conditions and situations, and it has gotten them to a point of complacency. It has gotten them to a point where they feel like they have a right to complain about any and everything. And I believe that's one of the problems that we need to get rid of in this country. You complain when there is something legitimate to complain about. You complain if you are being treated unfairly. You complain if you want a situation where the country is not going in the right way, or people in your house, or people in the community, or people, in this country are not behaving themselves, they're not doing things well enough, and you want an improvement in those things. You can complain. But do not be complaining for foolishness. There's a lot of that in this country. Stop complaining for foolishness in the country. We tired of that, man. We tired of that. There have been times when you meet people who will say there is no work. These same ones who will say that there is no work, you see them on the block 24/7. You call them because all of it, okay, they did not have work. You call them, hey, come and do that for me, man. I'm going to pay you X amount of money. The fellow will say, not even fair about them, man. And then you never see them. You never see them. Then you pass in on a Friday, ban Guinness, garçon. Ban Guinness. You know what I'm saying? But these same people are the ones that have you not observed that the people who don't want to do anything in the country are the ones who complain the most. The people who don't want to do nothing in the country are the ones who complain the most. Imagine there is a global crisis, guys, and they're giving you food at a hotel, and you're just complaining about food. It's almost like some people have to find something to complain about. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't be complaining. Yeah. If things are not up to, if things are like you just seen like a gross violation, I just feel like something not right. I climbing too many hills here. Where that thing taking me there? Too many hills. And I can't see no Forestier in sight. Okay. Too many hills. Okay. Now, I want to see why I go into there. Yeah. Too many years. I think I'll have to go back and go back on that trail. That thing there, no, that's not the way at all. What I was doing there was like you circling back to go deeper into the forest. Right. That's not the way. I go too many. I believe like I should have been closer to that place already. That's a side road that joining you. That thing must be joining you to another forest trail. Oh, feel like I have patience. That makes no sense. I'll go back on that other path. The path I didn't take, that's the one I will go back on. This thing here, climbing all these hills, and I think that's circulating more. Like you're going left. That's like you're going more in the direction of Bad Lil side. That's not where I want to be at all. Wrong path. That'll never be the right path. Even if this other one I'm going to get on, even if it's longer, I'll take it. But that thing there, nah, that can never be right. What an adventure. What an adventure. Okay, so I'm going to go on that road here. You see that side road I took there? Nah, can never be right. Even if it's going there, in fact, I don't want to follow that. That looked like a wild, that looked like a rabbit hole. I was just in there. I'm going to follow that one instead. It looked like there was a tank here, that concrete thing, with the concave indentation there. It looked like a tank. Some tank was there. What? Yeah. Old house. Can smell fuel. What was that? What kind of thing was that? But oh, I lift up my hands to the Father, 'cause He made me strong. He put the food on my table, yes, and in my heart is song. Oh, Jah, I love you so. Mighty Jah, I need you so. Sing along, hallelujah. Praise His name, hallelujah. Every night and day, hallelujah. The highest praise, hallelujah. There's a precipice down there. As I told you, Joachim and Guy, I want you all to wait for me by the road with tuna fried in locally made coconut oil, cold coconut water, and each table, how much I said earlier, each table, Guy, I want you to have $20,000 in an envelope for me. Joachim, $20,000 in an envelope. And each of your tables, coconut water is a must. Cold tuna fried in locally made coconut oil, and fruits. Okay, I'm smelling civilization. I'm smelling more. I see that electrical pole there. Although I should have noticed it earlier. Although I should have noticed the vibe earlier. But at least I'm smelling civilization. Look, I see the electrical poles with power. Hey, one of the reasons why I'm not talking too much is because I'm hungry. Moins faim. J'ai faim. J'ai faim. J'ai faim. So people, I want you to think of something. Just imagine a situation where a man is raising 5 children in a house by himself. Well, that's a precipice down there. A man is raising 5 children by himself. He works. He has a very... People, we have arrived at Forestier. I have achieved my mission. The bad thing about it is I thought when I arrived here, I would have met Guy Joseph with one table on here, Joachim with a table here, and each of them would have cold coconut water, fried fish, fried in locally made coconut oil, and fruits and money waiting for me. But it's a shame. I feel very sad that I come all the way to Forestier and none of these people are here to welcome me with those things that I was hoping that I was going to get from them. So people, I passed through Larry Shoes, going to Dennery Valley, going through Babawa, for PT where I used to live before, and pass through, go all Mondaysy, go to the top of the hill where Natty Conqueror lives. I had a good chat with his father, and now I have made it to Forestier. I thought Mr. Joachim and Mr. Guy Joseph would have been here waiting for me, each of them having their tables with cold water, coconut water, tuna fish fried in locally made coconut oil, and fruits, and money in envelopes waiting for me. But I didn't see any of those guys. Good afternoon. Yeah, I didn't see any of these guys waiting for me, and I'm not happy that they did that. I'm not happy at all that I had to go through all of these places, walking through this forested area, coming here, and none of these guys are waiting for me here. But I did something wrong. You see that shoe I have here? This thing here? These are not appropriate shoes to walk across the rainforest. I should have come with these water boots, these long boots that the farmers have. I have one, but it was not in a condition. I didn't wash it yet, so I couldn't come with it. But that thing I have in my feet there, that's not appropriate at all. If I got bitten by a snake, what would I have done? If a snake were to bite you in your leg, the boots would protect you. But with these things I have, they're just jeans, and this thing here, they would have straight access to the venom would have had straight access to my arteries, my veins, in seconds. So that is something that should have never been done. That was a risk. That was a big risk. These are the stupidity of life that people should not do. One mistake and you're in trouble. So if I got bitten, if I had a snake, if I received a bite from a poisonous snake while I was going through here, what would have I done? I would have probably have to probably go back, depending on where I was, go back to the rats that I was talking to, and I would have probably tried to call a vehicle to come and meet me up there to take me to St. Jude's or OKU, because that's where we have the antidote for this fedulous snake. It would make sense to go to the health center or anything like that. And today Saturday, health centers are closed. The two places you really must go to with snake bites, OKU or St. Jude's Hospital. So that's what I would have had to do in a case like that. And if I had my boots, most likely there would be a greater chance of a snake biting you in your leg. And the boots would have been able to protect me from that. But look at this. What protection you would get. Straight through your pants. And the venom would have been in you in seconds. So that wasn't a wise thing at all. So people, This is it. I wanted to leave the valley, pass through La Richose, go through Dennery Valley, go through Mondesi, go through the place where Natty Conqueror people live in, and come here to Forestier. I'm at Forestier now, so I accomplished my mission. Keep the fire burning. More fire, more fire. Fire keep burning. Can't cool. Tropical People and Places TV.